Hi everyone, thank you for coming back to my channel. God just led me to reread the Maccabees, 1 Maccabees, chapter 1 and 2. And I found something interesting that may interest you guys. Okay, let's get started. So I will start at 1 Maccabees 159 to 64. Now the 25th day of the month, they did sacrifice upon the idol altar which was upon the altar of God, at which time, according to the commandment, they put to death certain women that had caused their children to be circumcised, and they hanged the infants about their necks, and rifled their houses, and slew them that had circumcised them. Howbeit, many in Israel were fully resolved and confirmed in themselves not to eat any unclean thing. Wherefore, the rather to die, that they might not be defiled with meats, and that they might not profane the holy covenant. So then they died, and there was very great wrath upon Israel. So take a look at that is 5 and 20th day of the month, which is the 25th day of the month. Is pointing to Christmas time. So I will continue 1 Maccabee chapter 2. In those days arose Mattathias, the son of John, the son of Simeon, a priest of the sons of Jarib from Jerusalem, and dwelt in Modin. And he had 5 sons: Johanan, called Cadiz; Simon, called Thessi; Judas, who was called Macabees; Eleazar, called Ephraim; and Jonathan, whose surname was Aphias. And when he saw the blasphemies that were committed in Judah and Jerusalem, he said, Woe is me! Wherefore was I born to see this misery of my people and the holy city, and to dwell there, when it was delivered into the hand of the enemy, and the sanctuary into the hand of strangers. Her temple is become as a man without glory. Her glorious vessels are carried away into captivity. Her infants are slain in the streets, her young men with sword of the enemy. What nation hath not had a part in her kingdom and gotten of her spoils? All her ornaments are taken away. Of a free woman she is become a born slave. And behold, our sanctuary, even our beauty and our glory, is laid waste, and the Gentiles have profaned it. To what end, therefore, shall we live any longer? Then Mattathias and his sons rent their clothes, and put on sackcloth, and mourned very sore. In the meanwhile, the king's officers, such as compelled the people to revolt, came into the city Modin to make them sacrifice. And when many of Israel came unto them, Mattathias also and his sons came together. Then answered the king's officers and said to Mattathias, On this wise, Thou art a ruler, and an honorable and great man in this city, and strengthened with sons and brethren. Now therefore come thou first, and fulfill the king's commandment, like as all the heathen have done, yea, and the men of Judah also, and such as remain at Jerusalem. So shalt thou and thy house be in the number of the king's friends, and thou and thy children shall be honored with silver and gold and many rewards. Then Mattathias answered and spake with a loud voice though all the nations that are under the king's dominion obey him, and fall away every one from the religion of their fathers, and give consent to his commandments. Yet will I and my sons and my brethren walk in the covenant of our fathers. God forbid that we should forsake the law and the ordinances. We will not hearken to king's words to go from our religion, either on the right hand or the left. Now, when he had left speaking these words, there came one of the Jews in the sight of all to sacrifice on the altar, which was at Modin, according to the king's commandment. Which thing, when Mattathias saw, he was inflamed with zeal, and his reins trembled. Neither could he be forbear to show his anger according to judgment. Wherefore he ran and threw him upon the altar. Also, the king's commissioner, who compelled men to sacrifice, he killed at that time, and the altar he threw down. Thus dealt he zealously for the law of God, like as Phinehas did unto Sambury, the son of Salem. And Mattathias cried throughout the city with a loud voice, saying, Whosoever is zealous of the law and maintaineth the covenant, let him follow me. So he and his son fled into the mountains, and left all that ever they had in the city. Then many that sought after justice and judgment went down into the wilderness to dwell there, both they and their children and their wives and their cattle, because afflictions increased sore upon them. Now, when it was told the king's servants and the host that was at Jerusalem in the city of David, that certain men who had broken the king's commandment were gone down into the secret places in the wilderness, they pursued after them a great number, and having overtaken them, they camped against them, and made war against them on the Sabbath day. And they said unto them, Let that which ye have done hitherto suffice. Come forth and do according to the commandment of the king, and ye shall live. But they said, We will not come forth, neither will we do the king's commandment, to profane the Sabbath day. So they then they gave them the battle with all speed. Howbeit they answered them not, neither cast they a stone at them, nor stopped the places where they lay hid, but said, Let us die all in our innocency. Heaven and earth will testify for us that ye put us to death wrongfully. So they rose up against them in battle on the Sabbath, and they showed them with their wives and children and their cattle, to the number of 1,000 people. Now, when Mattathias and his friends understood hereof, they mourned for them right sore. And one of them said to another, If we all do as our brethren have done, and fight not for our lives and laws against the heathen, they will now quickly root us out of the earth. At that time, therefore, they decreed, saying, Whosoever shall come to make battle with us on the Sabbath day, we will fight against him. Neither will we die all, as our brethren then were murdered in the secret places. Then came there unto him a company of Assyrians, who were mighty men of Israel, even all such as were voluntarily devoted unto the Lord. Also, All they that fled for persecution joined themselves unto them and were a stay unto them. So they joined their forces and smote sinful men in their anger and wicked men in their wrath. But the rest fled to the heathen for succor. Then Mattathias and his friends went round about and pulled down the altars, and what children soever they found within the coast of Israel, and circumcised those they circumcised valiantly. They pursued also after the proud men, and the work prospered in their hand. So they recovered the law out of the hand of the Gentiles and out of the hand of kings. Neither suffered they the sinner to triumph. Now, when the time drew near that Mattathias should die, he said unto his sons, Now hath pride and rebuke gotten strength, and the time of destruction and the wrath of indignation. Now therefore, my sons, be ye zealous for the Lord, and give your lives for the confidence of your fathers. Call to remembrance what acts our fathers did in their time. So shall ye receive great honor and an everlasting name. Was not Abraham found faithful in temptation, and it was imputed unto him for righteousness? Joseph, in the time of his distress, kept the commandment and was made Lord of Egypt. Phineas, our father, in being zealous and fervent, obtained the confidence of an everlasting priesthood. Jesus, for fulfilling the word, was made a judge in Israel. Caleb, for bearing witness before the congregation, received the heritage of the land. David, for being merciful, possessed the throne of an everlasting kingdom. Elias, for being zealous and fervent for the law, was taken up into heaven. Ananias, Azarias, and Mishael, believing, were saved out of the flame. Daniel, for his innocency, was delivered from the mouth of lions. And thus consider ye throughout all ages, that none that put their trust in him shall be overcome. Fear not then the words of a sinful man, for his glory shall be dung and worms. Today he shall be lifted up, and tomorrow he shall not be found, because he is returned into his dust, and his thought is come to nothing. Wherefore, ye my sons, be valiant, and show yourselves men in the behalf of the law, for by it shall ye obtain glory. And behold, I know that your brother Simon is a man of counsel. Give ear unto him always. He shall be a father unto you. As for Judas Macabees, he hath been mighty and strong, even from his youth up. Let him be your captain, and fight the battle of the people. Take also unto you all those that observe the law, and avenge ye the wrong of your people. Recompense fully the heathen, and take heed to the commandments of the law. So he blessed them, and was gathered to his fathers. And he died in the 146th year, and his sons buried him in the sepulchre of his fathers at Modin, and all Israel made great lamentation for him. First Maccabees is best known for containing the narrative behind the Jewish holiday of Hanukkah. The books of Maccabees, 4 books, none of which is in the Hebrew Bible, but all of which appear in some manuscripts of the Septuagint. The first 2 books only are part of canonical scripture in the Septuagint and the Vulgate and are included in the Protestant Apocrypha. The first book of the Maccabees presents a historical account of political, military, and diplomatic events from the time of Judea's relationship with Antiochus IV Epiphanes of Syria to the death of Simon Maccabees, high priest in Jerusalem. It describes the refusal of Mattathias to perform pagan religious rites, the ensuing Jewish revolt against Syrian hegemony, the political machinations, whereby Demetrius II of Syria granted Judea its independence, and the election of Simon as both high priest and secular ruler of the Judean Jews. First Maccabees is the only contemporary source for the civil wars in Judea, and the only surviving one for Judean-Syrian relations after the reign of Antiochus IV. The historical integrity of the book, which was compiled from official written sources, oral tradition, and eyewitness reporting, is attested to by the absence of almost all of the conventions of the Hellenistic rhetorical school of historiography, and by its uncritical use by the later Jewish historian Josephus. Matthew 24:20 to 22, King James Version. But pray ye that your flights be not in the winter, neither on the Sabbath day. For then shall be great tribulation, such as was not since the beginning of the world to this time, no, nor ever shall be. And except these days shall be shortened, there should no flesh be saved, but for the elect's sake those days shall be shortened. So to conclude, the first book of Maccabee, chapter 1 and 2, is right at the same time as we are now, after December 25th, which is the Christmas day, and it's winter, and it's during Hanukkah, and also the war started on a Sabbath day in winter, which is contradicting the God's word. I believe that is what Satan wants. He always contradicts God. So it's totally opposite of Matthew 24:20. So winter war is coming on a Sabbath day. And this weekend, starting today, Friday sunset, it will be Sabbath day. Okay, I found this information interesting. How many weeks are in a pregnancy? There are 40 weeks or 280 days in a pregnancy. Only about 30% of pregnancies will reach week 40. In fact, a full-term pregnancy is considered anywhere from 39 to 41 weeks long. According to Torah calendar, Nisan started March 9th. Today it's 41 weeks and 6 days, so tomorrow will be 42 weeks. According to Enoch calendar, Nisan started March 21st. Today is 40 weeks and 1 day. Tomorrow will be 40 weeks and 2 days. According to Hebrew calendar, Nisan started April 6th. Today is 37 weeks and 6 days. Tomorrow will be 38 weeks.